To be honest, it's not a big surprise for me because I've known Pushkar for a while, and Pulli എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ he's always interested in making movies, irrespective of the language, as long as he likes the content and the subject and especially the team. And if he trusts in the team, then he's always willing to invest in that film. Pulli, he's very passionate about films and the project he's involved in. അപ്പോൾ അത് ആ സംഭവം വെച്ചിട്ട് ഇതൊരു സർപ്രൈസ് അല്ല എനിക്ക്. I've known him for a while. He was one of the producers for Katyandi Shuruvagide also. So I have a good relationship with him, and when I told him that I wanted to make this particular film set in Kanjangad using the local language and local slang mostly, and also to cast a bunch of new people, he didn't blink an eye. He said I believe in you and your team, and go ahead and do it, and in whatever way I can support, I'll support. So in that sense, Pulliyude decision to venture into Malayalam was not a big surprise for me. Like I said, he's always looking for expanding his in other words, expanding his portfolio of producing good films. So yeah. Thingalaicha Nishayam is a very light-hearted, more like a comedy drama. 1 hour 50 minutes, 1 hour 55 minutes length and now. It's a film about a dysfunctional family. There's an engagement happening in a lead character called Vijayan in his house. His second daughter is getting engaged. അപ്പോൾ ആ എൻഗേജ്മെൻറ്റിൻ്റെ 2 ദിവസം മുമ്പ് വീട്ടിലും വീട്ടിൻ്റെ ചുറ്റും നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു സിനിമയാണ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് bunch of people, an engagement ഉണ്ടാകുമ്പോൾ ഫാമിലിയും ഫ്രണ്ട്സൊക്കെ will be invited, they'll all gather together. അപ്പോൾ അവർ തമ്മിൽ നടക്കുന്ന there will be friction, there will be love, there will be animosity, squabbles, അതൊക്കെ വെച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കൊച്ചു പടമാണ്. I don't know if it's a unique thing or not, because the thing about the movie is it's all set in വിജയൻ്റെ ആ കമ്പൗണ്ടിൽ. വിജയൻ്റെ വീടിൻ്റെ ചുറ്റുള്ള കുറച്ച് സ്ഥലത്തിലാണ് മൊത്തം പടം സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. I think there's only one particular scene in the entire movie which happens outside of that. Everything else happens within that compound. So it's quite light-hearted, and it's very it showcases relationships and what happens when a bunch of family members gather together, and what happens in a typical family. So adana padam. It was completely shot in Kanjangad because I made a conscious decision to place the movie in my hometown. Most of the casting has been selected through audition process, but 90% are newcomers, and it also has a few known actors from Malayalam industry like Rajesh Madhavan, Uniraj, Cheruvattur, അങ്ങനെ കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. But in most of them are newcomers. So I had the idea, and the screenplay I co-wrote it with Sriraj Ravindran, and also this other person called Fahad Nandu who assisted also in writing, who helped us with writing. Sriraj has done cinematography. Rajesh Madhavan helped me a lot in terms of creative support. So he came on board, and he was a really huge asset for us in terms of putting the project together, especially with casting, and also making sure that the team bonds. Mujib Majid has done the music. Nixon George did the sound. And Harilal did the editing. So we got a fabulous team who got a lot of experience in the industry. So it was a good experience. It's good. It was like a family sort of atmosphere. Ellarum, we worked very closely with each other, and there was a lot of affection and love on the set. So I hope that comes through on the big screen. Zero 41 was my first film, not necessarily just Malayalam film, but my first film. This Thingalaicha Nishayam is my third film in that order. I did a Kannada film in between called Katyandi Shuruvagide. Why am I basing Thingalaicha Nishayam also in Kanjangad after 041? See, 041 happened because I just come back, after living abroad for 20 years, and I wanted to do something in film. So I just called all my neighborhood kids and called a few friends, and I just made the film. There was not a lot of thought process, not a lot of thinking. I just had a thought, and I just decided, okay, a little extra cash on the side, so I'll just go ahead and do it. അങ്ങനെയാണ് 041 സംഭവിച്ചത്. I mean, the way it blew up, I mean, we didn't expect even 1% of that. So that's so basically, because I was fooling around with the idea, it was based in Kanyangal and around my surroundings. തിങ്കളാഴ്ച നിശ്ചയം അങ്ങനെയല്ല. തിങ്കളാഴ്ച നിശ്ചയം had taken a different route. Initially I wanted to do it I started off thinking I'll make it in Malayalam. For some reason it didn't work out for me, and then I decided to make it in Kannada. And then as I was scripting it in Kannada, just something told me that no, this has to be told in your the language that you're comfortable with, the slang that you're comfortable with. And suddenly I told Sriraj, how about we base it in Kanyangar? And he was like, he always wanted to do it in Malayalam. So immediately I called Pushkar and I said, we've changed our mind and we want to do it in Malayalam. Would you still like to be part of it? And he was like, within 10 seconds, it's like, do whatever you need to do, man. We have complete trust in you and your team, and go ahead and do it. And then we started reworking, and we changed the script a little bit and decided to base it in Kanyangar. Why Kanyangar? Because I'm comfortable. This is my home, and I'm comfortable with the area. I'm comfortable with the characters that we created, which are basically set around the area and the culture that I'm comfortable with. So yeah, in that sense, it was kind of a conscious decision. And also, I'm one of those guys who hate, moving away from home. So it became easier, everything, instead of me going into another place and sort of making the project happen, I just had to call everyone to come home and chill and work on this project. So that comfort factor also kind of helped us, I guess. So well, I know a lot of people hate me for this. 041 kind of built the curiosity and then it just disappeared. So what happened to the film and why is not released? And so many questions I keep getting on a regular basis. Sambhavam narnale, I never had a plan to release it in theatre because that's not how the film was conceived. Most of it happened by accident. നമ്മളൊരു പടം ചെയ്തു. I just was bored and sitting at home, and I just thought I'll make a movie, and I made the movie, and we cut a trailer, and then before the trailer we sent it to a few festivals, and it got selected in about close to 10 festivals, and it played. And after that I decided to cut a trailer and put the trailer online, and then as I say, Anurag Kashyap shared, and rest is history. So after that there was a huge curiosity, and people wanted to see what's happening with the film and stuff. So like I said, even after the trailer kind of blew up, I didn't think about taking it to theatre. I was trying to sort of bring it on OTT or on an online platform, and in that process I managed to sell the film, but so basically I've sold the rights, digital rights and satellite rights. Theatre rights I still own, but I don't know what happened with the guys that bought the film. I don't know. I mean, there have been a few, there has been some confusion. So I'm still hoping that they'll bring it online at some point. So that's where the status is. There's not much I can do because I've sold the rights. So. I'm from Kanyangar, which is in Kasaragod, which is the border between Karnataka and Kerala. I'm bilingual, both Kannada and Malayalam. My friends say suck in both languages. So a conscious decision on Nala, I go with the subject and what I think, what language would do justice to the subject. 041 had to be in Malayalam because it's about me and my surroundings, and I live in Kanyangar, which is part of Kerala, and my surroundings wanted me the story and the casting that I chose and everything, I wanted Malayalam. So that's why 041 was Malayalam. Kathayondu Shuruagide happened because I've known Rakshit Shetty for a while, and we were toying around with an idea of making a film in Kannada, and that's how the Kathayondu Shuruagide subject came up, and then I pitched it to them, and they were more than happy to sort of produce it, and that's how that movie happened in Kannada. Coming to Tingalaicha Nishchayam, I initially wanted to do it in Malayalam. For some reason it didn't work out for me, and then I decided to make it in Kannada. But as I was, writing, getting it written in Kannada, back of my mind I still wanted to do it in Malayalam. Somehow, the story and the authenticity of the story sort of kind of wanted me to keep it in the language that I'm comfortable with, which is basically, Kanjangad slang, and that's how we decided to make it in Malayalam. Why new faces in Tingalaicha Nishchayam? Like I said, the movie is set in Kanjangad. We are trying to use the local slang as much as possible, and I always shoot my movie with the sync sound. So you had to know the local slang, and that's one of the main reasons we decided to do audition and cast everyone who's local. So we are geography wise, we have ranged from something like Uduma till Payanur, because the way we speak are almost similar. So most of the actors are hailing from between these two towns. Around 90% is new cast, as in debut, and some of them acted in few small roles in various films, but most of them are quite new, first time. How did I come to cinema industry? I think I've had a long journey in terms of what I've done in my life, and engineer, computer engineer by education. I've done my masters in information systems. I worked in the West, in the US, for about 5 years as a business analyst, and then I worked in advertising for about 10 years in the Middle East. After I quit everything and I moved back, once my dad passed away, and all I ever wanted to do was make one film in my life, and that's how, once I moved back here, I was quite bored, and that's when I called some friends and picked up a camera, and we did the 041, and it's been a quite a good journey since. One of the most important thing in life is to be lucky, and I've been lucky throughout this whole process. So yeah, that's how I entered into films, and this is my third. I don't know if there are any more to come, but hopefully there will be a few more. I watch Malayalam films. Yes, I grew up on Malayalam films. I watched almost all Malayalam films up until 90s, and then education and higher studies, and my job took me to the other parts of the world, and that's when I kind of lost touch with watching Malayalam movies. So up until mid 90s, I think I've pretty much seen almost all movies. Growing up, I was a huge fan of Padmarajan, Satyanandikad, and Balachandra Menon. Actually, I'm a huge fan of Balachandra Menon and his movies. So I used to watch all of those movies. And then I think I got back into watching Malayalam movies probably 2010, and after that I love Malayalam movies. Even now, I think other than English movies, the only movies that I consistently watch are Malayalam movies, and of late I've started watching Kannada movies, also a lot of Kannada movies. So my sensibility and thought process, everything has been influenced by a lot of Malayalam movies that I watched while growing up. Current favorites, there are quite a few. I think a lot of good movies have come in the recent time. So if I have to pick a few films, not in any particular order, of course, Kumblangi Nights, Mayo, one of my absolute favorite film. Tondi Mudal Drisashigal. That also has it's closer to my heart because it was based in Kasaragod. I love my district and I love my hometown, so I'm always rooting for something that is set or based from here. And I think if I have to pick one film which has been my absolute favorite in the last 2-3 years, it has to be Mayanadi. I don't know, for some reason, it really touched me, and the making and the performance and everything, the music, everything. I think everything came together. So Mayanadi is one of my absolute favorite film in the past few years. I'm only picking movies from last 2-3 years. That's why I chose these names.